Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and yes, welcome to our second session for unleashing success through values here today. And it's a beautiful day today. It's an amazing day, I would say. It's Teachers' Day, so welcome one and all on this beautiful morning. Thank you so much for joining us here. And of course, the session, just as the first session, it's going to be very chilled, very interactive. Of course, we want you all to share your thoughts and also your questions in the chat box over there. And don't feel shy to do so. All questions are encouraged, so just sit back and enjoy the session. Of course, for those of y'all who later on, when the number of participants increase, we actually have a YouTube link which will be sent out, and you guys can also stream it live from YouTube via that link. So without further ado, we would like to pass it over to our presenter, Professor Dr. Suresh Govind. Take it away, sir.
So a very good morning to all of you, and welcome to the second session of Unleashing Success with Values. We had some considerable number of people who gave us a feedback on the first one, and that was quite encouraging, and we thought that we will continue the process of trying to discover how success can unleash with values. So today is Teachers' Day, and to all teachers, our teachers, past teachers, present teachers, and the future teachers that will come to us, happy Teachers' Day, because Teachers' Day is a most wonderful day. Teachers are the bridge between us and the knowledge, and if there is no bridge, we can't get to the knowledge. So we thank all teachers for being that bridge and connecting us to the various branches of knowledge. So we have a homage to our teachers. Okay, unleash successful. I do not know, can you remember some of the things that have been shared in the past? But if you cannot, then let me just jolt your memory. So before we begin, I just want to have this slide because this is a very nice one. There's a very little difference between mediocre and greatness. It seems very small difference. It can be equated to the idea that the boiling point is only 1 degree difference between warm water and boiling water. Just 1 degree, because if it's 99 degrees, it's water. And then 100 degrees, it becomes boils. And then when it boils, it becomes steam. And when it is steam, then you can use steam to has energy for many things. So the difference.
Suresh, can I interrupt? Suresh, can I interrupt? Can you check with the audience whether they can see your slides or they're only seeing your video?
Okay, guys, can you please check and see, are you able to see the slides well?
Yes, Uncle. Yeah, able to see.
Yes, Uncle.
Okay, fine, fantastic.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Billy. Thank you, Billy. Billy is our technical expert now, so I'm still learning a lot of things from my teacher. So this is Happy Teachers' Day. So the boiling point is 1 degree difference, which means to say, if water is boiling at 99 degrees, it is water. But just a little bit, 1 degree, it becomes steam. Ooh. So the power to generate energy, the power to increase energy is just by 1 degree. And you know something, we will be forever in our life, never reaching that 1 degree, but thinking that we are the 99 degrees water. So the difference that we can create in our life is just that 1 degree. So this program or these sessions are just for us to get to that 1 degree point. Because in us, we have all the potentials to reach our heights, you see. So there's another thing also, the difference between the racehorse, between the first and second place, is often a fraction of a second, just fraction of a second, and the horse reaches number 1. And therefore, the key thing is this very small. It is a thing. Thinking that we have done the things that we are doing in the right manner, not knowing that we'll never get the end result because we're just 1 degree away. This is what we want. What is that 1 degree difference that we want to do? So the last session, if you remember, we spoke about success values for 5G. I don't know whether you can remember, but doesn't matter. I will remind you. The 5G technology starts with the goal. Then we need to be a go-getter. We need to have gratitude. We need to give, and we need to become a global player. So this is the 5G that we spoke about the last time. I'm hoping that some of you are here, and of course, some of you are not, who came in here for the first time. Doesn't matter. We will catch up as we go along. Goal, go-getter, gratitude, give, and global. So this is the 5G technology that we will use. And today we are spending time in discovering the goal, because that is the most important thing in our life. Because if you don't know where you're going to go, and whatever you do, you can't get where you want to get. So goal is a very important thing. So the critical thing is goal setting. Now you can play football. You can dribble the ball, and pass the ball here and pass the ball there. You can continue playing in your field for hours and sweat it out and all that. But the key thing is, have you put the ball in the goal? And in fact, if 10,000 people were to watch this football game live or studio and all that, and the great game is about to start, the cup is glittering in the sun outside, the two teams come inside, and they all stand and the whistle blows, and then suddenly they look behind and they find there's no goalpost. If there's no goalpost, how will you play the game? You can't play the game. The game is, it's a play. Yes, it's a play, but it will never be considered a game, because a game needs a goalpost. In the same way, how do we set the goal? So the key question, now the point is that there are 3 types of people that live in this world. And one type of people is make things happen. This is the guy. I don't care, whatever said and done, I will go and get it. I got no problems with this group of people, because they know exactly what to do and they will go and get the things done. So these are people who make things happen. Yes, they make things happen. They are very important because they are the ones who go and get things done. And of course, then there are second group of people. They just let it happen. What to do, brother? It happened, brother. What to do? So these are people who just become victims to circumstances and what to do. You know, I can't do anything much. It is beyond my control. It is beyond. So we continue to play the blame game and let things happen. And of course, there is a third group of people. And this is a group of people who just simply don't know what happened. You ask them, what is it? I don't know. Why? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. Nothing they know. Then what do you know? I just, a drifting snowflake being tossed by the ocean, by the waves in the snow mountain. So like that, then the ones that don't know what happened just continuously just go through. And this is what they'll go through. There are 3 types of people: ones that make things happen, and ones that let it happen, and the ones that don't know what happened. So which category of people do you fall into? This is something that you need to evaluate. Are you, and you can even give a percentage in it. Most of the time, are you make things happen? How many percent is that? So out of 100%, what is your percentage of your personality that falls into these 3 categories? If you're one that falls, say 70% of the time you fall into the 3rd category, then that's something that we need to pull up our socks, because then you just continuously flow along with the tide and don't really take things into your control. So it's a very important assessment to know whether you want to reach the goal or whether you want to have the goal. So clear thing, the first thing that we must have in goal setting or in anything that we want to get is what is called clarity. Clarity means you see very clearly. You can see it as clear as anything that you want to see. It's almost in your hand. So that clarity must be there. But unfortunately, the clarity sometimes can get mistaken. So here's a caterpillar that is now going in the garden. One day I heard this conversation, you see, so I'm just letting you know and sharing with you some of the inner secrets of nature. So the caterpillar says, "Oh, butterfly, how beautiful you look." So butterfly says, "Thank you. Thank you for your kind compliment. But do you know something? You can be also like me." "Me? I can never be like you," caterpillar says. Butterfly says, "That is what you think. Every butterfly potential is found in a caterpillar. How can I be like you? Because I only take and take and take and take and live on these green leaves." Wow. Butterfly says, "That is true. You at this moment do that because you at this moment only take life for granted, number one. Take things for granted. Do not have a vision. Do not have a goal. Do not have You just, whatever leaves are available, you eat, whatever grass that is available. No higher potential, no higher goal in yourself. Be like me, butterfly says. But how can I? How can I? Me, look at me, how ugly I am. Oh, there is beauty. There is splendor. There is everything in you. It is just that you need to realize. Then the caterpillar says, how do I do that? How do I do that? Because in every caterpillar, there is a butterfly potential, you say. So the butterfly says, it is true. In every caterpillar, there is a butterfly potential. But you have to go into a cocoon. Really? A cocoon? Caterpillar. And therefore, this cocoon must be there. So for every successful person, you need to get into this cocoon. Cocoon means you withdraw yourself from your preoccupation, from your friends, from your tasks, from your daily things, and sit quietly. This is a very important exercise. You need to go into a cocoon, and from this cocoon, the caterpillar starts to do the molting. It starts to understand that it too can become a butterfly. Therefore, there is some withdrawal. You have to change your habits. You have to change your way in which you live. You have to change your behavior. Yeah. You have to change your outlook. Everything has to change. And you can only change if you are in a cocoon. So in that cocoon, it begins to realize that, yes, it is true, but I have to take some effort. So I withdraw. The past habits. No, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be a time waster. I don't want to be a confused person. There is something that is in me that is going to be stirred, and I too can become a person like that butterfly, because the butterfly apparently pollinates. Butterfly helps in the nature. Butterfly is so beautiful. Butterfly is a giver. And I am miserable caterpillar. I've only been a taker this while. So from a taker to a giver. Wow, that's a transformation. So I sit in my cocoon. I start to look within, and then slowly molting takes place. Metamorphosis takes place, if you like to use a biological word. And then very slowly, the cocoon is broken. And from the broken cocoon comes out a beautiful butterfly. And the other butterfly also looks like, see, I told you you can do it. It is just that you need to understand that you have to go into a cocoon. So the secret of life really is to get into this cocoon, this state in which you start to reflect. Reflection is a very important exercise, and it is in this exercise that you see the glory of your own butterfly potential in every caterpillar. So this is what nature has been teaching. So we look at the night, we go outside in the night and we look at the moonlight, we look at the moon, and the moon is so beautiful and so precious. The moonlight is so beautiful and so precious. And you wonder, oh moon, how beautiful you are. But the moon replies back to you, yes, I am beautiful, but you must understand one truth. Where do I get my light from? My light is from the sun. So the light of the moon is from the sun. Therefore, if you think that I exist for myself and I will do whatever I want to do, and I can live any way I want to live, and all have that kind of notion, and not have the notion that the light that the moon gives is from the sun, that means beyond me, there's a whole load of people actually responsible for my existence. This is the collective recollection that you must have, which means to say that at this juncture, the sun must continuously be the illuminator, which reflects the light on the moon, and therefore you see the glory of the moon. So in my life, if I start to become having ingratitude and disconnect this light, then I will not be able to see the light, and therefore my own illumination will start going away. So here is a beautiful example. One of the principal successes is to know, by looking at the moon, it reminds me that I too in my life have got so many beautiful things, so many beautiful things behind me for my own success. So now this is the difference between goal setting and this. And really, I'm sharing with you something amazing. This is, in most goal setting places, you always, this may not be there. So the key thing is, and this is the fundamental difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. Successful people have ideals, make ideals, then create your goals. What is your ideal? What is your ideal? So many people mistake ideals for goals. Actually, it's not true. Ideals means it is like forever you are going to have this ideal. It is based upon that ideal that you have your goals. So there are a lot of people who are multimillionaires, but they're very sad inside because that money came in, but it was not based on and fulfilling certain ideals. So they remain unfulfilled. So it is a very important successful indicator. Make ideals, then create your goals. So examples of ideals are, this is an imagery. See, you want to hang your goals, like the shirt is your goal. I want to be a doctorate, I want to be a university lecturer, I want to do all that. These are all goals, but it must hang on an ideal. Your goals must hang on an ideal. Then you got the goal right. If you don't have the ideal to hang the goals on, you find your goals will be just hanging there. There's no fulfillment there. So ideals is your basis. And most people don't do this exercise. They just jump, what's your goal? I want to be a doctor. Oh, okay, and then you go MBBS doctor, and then okay, you're a doctor. So what happens now? I'm a doctor. So now what happens? You forgot the goal. You forgot the ideal of that. So a goal can easily be achieved if there's an ideal that is able to guide our goals. So your goals must hang on ideals. Remember this point, you write it down. I hope all of you, when you're listening to these things, you have a notebook and a pencil and write down these points, because we do not know when we are going to meet again, and we don't know when the lockdown is going to open up. But nevertheless, these are secrets that we are sharing. And this is all coming from the Sathya Sai Academy for Human Values, which is an academy dedicated to the promotion of values, where there are a number of 400 over teachers train 4,700 students in this country on developing human values. And we are reaching out to as many people to make people successful and happy. And all this is being done completely free of charge and free of cost. So they're all doing this purely for the purposes of raising the level of consciousness. So your goals must hang on an ideal. Remember that. Goals must hang on ideals. Now, question. What's the question? Question is, what is the difference between a goal and an ideal? Okay, so for that purpose, I need to demonstrate or show you what is the meaning of the word ideal, or what do you mean? Why can you give me some examples of the word ideal? So example will be, whatever happens, I will look after my parents. It's an ideal. You see, so this ideal is a very, so what happens now? Can you see the planets going around the sun? Yeah. All the planets, Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and all the other planets together rotate around the sun. Yeah. But the sun is in the center. The sun is holding the fulcrum and the planets are moving around. It gives us a very powerful imagery that this must become the anchoring ideal. So in your life, when you have some anchoring ideals, you won't move out from the character. Even though millions of dollars come, the basis of your existence is that I will look after my parents. Whatever happens, I will look after my parents. So this is a very important ideal. So this is an example of an ideal. Second is, my ideals is to be loyal to my mother and my motherland. Wow, that's very powerful ideal. Very powerful ideal. And when I had the opportunity to work or get a job or something in Singapore at that time, when I finished my PhD, the CPF, as you know, and Singapore pays quite a lot of money. So when I came back here to Malaysia and took on a job that paid me really 1/5 or 1/6 of the pay that I possibly could have got in Singapore, at the interview, they asked me, why didn't you stay back in Singapore after your PhD? There are a lot of research opportunities and a lot of other things. So why did you come back? So I said two things. One, of course, is that my parents are here in Malaysia. And second is that I want to be contributing to my motherland. This is where I was born. I want to contribute here. Why I should go anywhere and contribute? I want to contribute here. And if at all I go somewhere, I want to bring back the idea to make my motherland a better place to live in. So that's my ideal. And as a result of those ideals that I possessed, I was prepared to stay with a lesser salary, but fulfill those ideals. So the ideals become very satisfactory. So even if I were, let's say, if I were to be in Singapore and get a very high salary, let's say for one instance, if these ideals were not navigating me, then what will happen is I may get it, but always there's an annoying feeling, I should have stayed back. So you find that invariably formulate this kind of ideals on universal principles. Love your motherland and love your parents. Okay, so this is second ideals, okay? These are all examples of ideals. Third one, in whichever circumstance I'm in, I will always give love, happiness, and care. Powerful. What does it matter? Wherever you are, whatever you do, you take extra time to be of service to other people. This is the kind of things that we want. So you have big house, big car, and we live for ourselves and continue to become members of club and run here and there, and only for self-gratification, fattening of bank balance. You don't give a fulfillment if you have this ideal. If you have this ideal, whatever time you get, you want to serve and you want to connect and you want to give as much as you can so that others can also share the happiness and all. Okay, what drives you then? It drives you because you want to give love and happiness and care to all. So what is the purpose of this? Zoom session? Is that if all of you are listening to this and you can benefit 1% and start practicing, and somewhere along the way, if you achieve some element of success and you take this, then that's it. That is the success. That is the happiness that you get because you have used this time for this particular purpose. Now, we need not do this. The academy need not do this. Or we can do this Saturday morning. We can do 100 other things. Okay, that is not true. You cannot do 100 other things because you're on lockdown. But you can do other things. You can read a book. You can finish your report. You can do many. But we're using this time to bring this awareness to the number of people who are listening to this, because we want everyone's life to have a quality life. So in whichever circumstance I'm in, I will always give love, happiness, and care for all. Then in number 4, doesn't matter what job you do, even you can be a waiter, will carry out my work as excellent as I can. We had a beautiful chance to go to Langkawi, and at that time, London there used to be a London-Langkawi flight by Mars, so passengers used to land in Langkawi Strait, and there used to be a large number of British people or European people who used to come to Langkawi. So one day when my wife and I were sitting in this nice resort, having our breakfast, there was this waiter who came to serve us. So I stopped and asked, what are you doing? So I said, I'm just a waiter here. I said, and where you stay? I stay somewhere around here. So I asked you, why you said just now, when I asked you, what are you doing? Why did you reply back saying that you are just a waiter? You are just a waiter. Why do you say that? Yeah, I'm just a waiter. What am I? I'm nothing. What? Just go and serve the food. You order the food. I give the food. What else can I do? So I said, hey, you know something? This is not very true, because you see, do you notice the British people here? Yeah. You know how many they are? They're about 30 just in this restaurant. And just now there are 30 people sitting. Do you know that you are a Malaysian? Do you know that in front of that people, you are the ambassador of Malaysia at this point of time to those European people? So when you serve with happiness and joy and you reflect that kind of attitude that you have, what do you think the British guys are going to do? They're going to go back and they're going to say, wow, Malaysian people are so friendly. Malaysian people are so this. So don't just treat it as a waiter. You are representing our millions and millions of people's aspirations and hope that you bring more and more tourists as a result of your hospitality. So I sat there, he listened for a very long while. After that, he went inside the kitchen and then he came out. Suddenly, when he was coming out, now the waiter is coming out. Wow, you should see his posture of the body, very straight. He walked with a very nice gait, and he looked at me and gave me a wink, and the confident levels just came out simply because I said that there is so much of things that you can derive from whatever job that you can do. So don't think any job is menial job. Whatever that is given to you, you do that, will carry out my work as excellent as I can. So this is the 4th principle of this. This is very good. I will never do anything to bring, this is a powerful ideal. I'll never do anything to bring shame to my parents and family. So simple. So therefore, if I'm going and somebody offers me drugs, for example, alcohol for that matter, why should I? If my parents were sitting here, would I give? So when I have this kind of very powerful ideals in my life, I will start navigating it will start influencing my choices. It will start increasing my beliefs. It will start enhancing my outlook. Then it will influence my decision-making process. So this becomes the ideals upon which I hook up my goal. So even if I have a goal, and even if I reach the goal, I will have these ideals as constantly navigating. Otherwise, in this desert, you can bring your water, you can bring your food, but there is something that you must bring along in this large desert. What is it? One thing you need in this desert. Do you know? Can you remember? Can you know? Can you just unmute your mic and shout just to say that, just to tell me that you are listening to this?
Compass.
Yes. So exactly, you need a compass. So therefore, ideals are the compass that shape your direction. So ideals are like that inside compass, your inner compass that will shape your direction and your goals. So if you do not have these ideals, and that for young people often jump at formulating goals without formulating ideals. Ideals is the container, goals is the content. Ideals is where you contain your goals. If you have this and align your goals to your ideal, that's it, you're a successful man. And not only you will be successful, you will be very, very happy. But all successful people not necessarily need to be happy. But in this case, because you have programmed your goals according to the ideals, you find that both you will achieve the goal, at the same time, you will achieve the ideals. So this is a very beautiful concept in trying to make people understand the whole thing. So this is the compass. Now, first thing in goal setting is that, of course, you need clarity. Clarity, clear clarity. So this is very obvious, okay? So I'm going to tell you how to get clarity, but just let me tell you that you need to be extremely clear. And this moment, some of you will say, I'm not so clear, I'm very extremely confused, I don't know. At this moment, I haven't done anything. I will cross the bridge when I come to it and all that kind of thing. So therefore, it's not so clear at this moment, where am I going to go? That's because my clarity, and the clarity is like this, because lack of clarity is the #1 time waster. The real thing is, if you really know what exactly you want, you will not spend so much time wasting away in different activities. So lack of clarity is the #1 time waster. We waste a lot of time because we don't really know what on earth is our clarity. We don't really know. A person who's supposed to go to the doctor and went to the doctor simply because there's suddenly blood that came out from his nose. He wiped it with his white handkerchief, and the white handkerchief became red, and therefore he called his friends, and friends nowadays give a lot of medical advice even without the MBBS. So they ask this question, hey, you got pain or not pain? No pain. Oh, yo, no pain, more dangerous, you know. So the guy said, oh, yo. So he goes to the hospital. And the hospital said, doctor looks at it, takes X-ray, I'm very sorry to tell you that you have only got about 4 months to live. Ooh, why, doctor? Because this is now reached the 4th stage. Are you, doctor? And then that's it. Now, when you go back, do you know, suddenly a lot of things become into clarity because you don't have any more time to waste. You got only 4 months. Suddenly, everything becomes extremely obvious to you. So we waste a lot of things in life. A lot of time is wasted because we don't have a clarity in our life. So once you're very clear, you will not waste time. But the question is, we need to dream. So many people, what happens is, actually a lot of people have dreams. This is the other thing about us. We sit down, we dream, or we can be, you know, we do a lot of daydreaming. You know how many hours people spend in unproductive hours of dreaming? Hey, you sit down and we dream, daydream. Just put your eyes up there and imagine many things and imagine, oh, we daydream. And 2 hours have passed by. And after 2 hours, what have you achieved? Oh, we have achieved everything. We have gone, we have become, we are married, we have produced few children, we got a multi-million-dollar bungalow near the seaside. Everything is in our dream. Okay, have you realized it? No, because to realize the dream, you have to wake up from the sleep. To wake up from the sleep in order to realize the dream. So to wake up, to dream is necessary, but we need to wake up from the dream. And this is a very important part of it. Dream does not mean we can dream, but we must have the dream navigated by the ideals that we possess. And you find that if not, what will happen on a rainy day, everything will become very fuzzy. Can you see that you cannot see things clearly? You cannot see things where you're going. You cannot see things in the front of you because everything becomes very fuzzy. And when it is fuzzy in a car, for example, look at this amazing car. It's going, but I can't see anything. So my God, sometimes in this kind of situation, you just drive and hope that no car bangs into you. And sometimes many of us lead our lives like that. Oh, we just go, we hope nothing happens to us, we hope nothing. So we go like that because everything becomes very fuzzy, everything becomes very unclear, everything becomes not so sure. So when we live our life like this, nothing can come into our grips. The real reason why we experience this fussiness or this disorganization is that the confusion is there is too much of cluttering of information. This is today's world. Because in those days' world, they were clearer than this days' world because we got thousands of information coming into us. Cluttering of information, my God. There are so much of information from the Google on, from Mr. Google. He gives you so much of information that we gather, and we got so much of content on all our social media. We are connecting to thousands of friends who gives us hundreds and hundreds of different sorts of information. We do not know how to categorize this information. We do not know how to segregate the information. We do not know how to qualify the information. So a lot of it coming. Oh, I'm confused. I don't know. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do that? Even when you go to a restaurant to choose something to eat, you know how confused we are. Because the menu card is now like an encyclopedia. They open it up and there are so many hundreds and hundreds of what. Shall I have this? Shall I have? Then you take a snapshot and send it to your friend. Which is it that you had the other day when you came? And then they will tell you. And so therefore, there is so much of that kind of communication coming because in this world, the crisis today is the crisis of choice. The world suffers from the crisis of choice. We got hundreds of TV programs to choose from, hundreds of types of food we have, hundreds of fizzy drinks that we can choose from, and so many different things. So we got choices. And when we have choices, there is a clutter of this. So there is what we call background sound, background noise. Our background noise is even when you, if I'm speaking to you now and you're talking, I mean, you are listening to this in your mind, you have this is background noise. So this background noise is what that actually makes us tired. So why is it that we get tired? It's not because we do physical work or it's the background noise and information and thought processing that takes place in our head is making us tired. It's making us weary. It's making us exhausted. So because why? The definition of a thought is that a thought is a speck of energy, a speck. So a speck of energy, if it's a thought, then thousands of that specks of energy will drain us, will emotionally exhaust us, and will make us very weak and tired and all that. So this is what it is. Now, the whole thing of cluttering of this information is because this is the iceberg. And I think many of you must have seen the movie Titanic, which it hits this ship, hits the iceberg, and the whole ship sinks. Not because the captain didn't know that there was an iceberg, because 6 ships passed by and warned the captain, there is a huge iceberg in front of you. There is a huge iceberg in front of you. Captain said, no problem. And he went ahead and crashed into the iceberg, not knowing that 3/5 of the iceberg is really below. And what you can see is only 2/5 of the iceberg. So when the big Titanic ship crashed, thousands of people died, is because there is a huge amount of ice below us. So now what I'm trying to explain to you is that the confusion in your mind is because this top part of is the information that you know. There is the information that you don't know about yourself is this much, huge amounts of information. So much we don't know about ourselves. So when we do not know this much about ourselves, your information processing system is going to be messed up because the input comes in, the processing system is, you do not know, we don't seem to know how to process the information. And then when we go into the output, we make our own decisions, and that decision is what that spoils our life. And a lot of this input that comes through is stored in our subconscious mind for such a long time. And that is what that guides and guards our programming. And this is what that makes. So the processor system in our system is becoming faulty because we have not put in, we have not cleaned it up, we have not understood, we have not assessed. So the key thing is that we need to interpret the messages that we get. This is a very important process in successful people, because this is where my father told me a story when I was in standard 1 or 2. We always sit in the balcony of our house. I mean, not balcony means the front part of the house. So we all used to sit there, and my father always every day will tell us a story where he must have read somewhere, heard somewhere. He will share these stories. And one of those stories that he shared was the fact that a white rat and a black rat walked above the roof. And then there was a hole in the roof, and as a result, it fell into a pot of milk, which mother forgot to put the cover. And so in that big, huge pot of milk, the black rat decided to wade and paddle and paddle and paddle, and exhausted, it died and drowned itself and died. But the white rat kept on paddling, 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 paddling. And as a result, overnight, the the milk slowly turned into something harder, into curd and butter and so on. And as a result, he was able to jump on the harder portions of the formed semi-solid and jumped out of the pot. So he said, what happened here? Here, the milk is the same. So everything is the same, except that two people's attitude, the black rat's attitude and the white rat's attitude, is what gave a different outcome. That story actually I used when we were forming the STAR program in 1996, when we first went into a public school to do this program. We included this as the white rat, black rat principle as one of the principles which I remembered in what my father told me. And this was put inside this syllabus at that, at the program at that point of time to demonstrate what kind of person are you. Are you following like the black, or are you following like the white? Now, this is an important point in success. In success, the processing system of interpreting whatever circumstances that you fall in is a very important point. What is the information telling you? So you look at successful people, they will interpret the same thing differently. So when I'm saying all this to you with open-heartedness, because I was a failure. I failed my exam two times, in Form 6. And when I failed my exam and really didn't know what to do and extremely confused, that's why I can be sympathetic to people who are confused. And I can be sympathetic to people who fail, because I understand what failure means and what it damages, what esteem it damages. So when I had a chance to finally enter the college, Tunku Abdul Rahman College, and they are 97 or 96% of them are Chinese students. And when you study and work with Chinese students, it's quite different. So I used to really go along with all those Chinese students who study very, very hard and go in the library and sit with them and study. So whenever I open a book, I ask them, okay, you read this paragraph. What does this paragraph mean to you? So when I look at that, then they will give me an interpretation. Then I said, how come I didn't get that interpretation when I read the same book? So I found that the way of processing the information is the key thing in intelligence. Intelligence development is all about processing information. So nobody in this world is stupid or backward, or I don't believe in that. I think everyone has the butterfly potential in a caterpillar. But the key thing is that it depends upon the processing system that you possess. So the input of information must be processed properly to get the output. And this is where the real successful people process the information incredibly different from the normal person. The moment I know my processing information system is fantastic, wow, I become incredible. I change my outlook, I change my behavior. So therefore, you have to have 5 wives and 1 husband. That does not mean that I'm encouraging polygamy, but 5 wives here means that you have to ask what is it, when is it, who is it, where is it, why is it, and how. So this is the 5 wives and 1 husband that you have to constantly ask. This is what that differentiates people. So dear friends, if you want to be successful and you want to clarify your goal, ask questions. Hey, why? What for I should get it? When will I get it? What if I get it? What will happen to me? Where can I get all this information? Why I should get it? Why is the most important question. You have to ask why. If I get why I should get it. After you know the why, then you have to bring the husband inside. What is that? How? How do I get it? How is a different matter, but why is the more important matter? So in my case, I based it on the fact that when I failed 2 times and I did very badly, and everybody told me there was no hope. Everyone said that they'd asked me to go to work, by the way. Some of my people told me, please go to work, go to a vocational training school, because I failed my exam. And my results were very, very bad. So when I came home one day and I saw my father crying in the room, and I talked about this, and it came out in a very big article in the New Straits Times. I saw my father cry, and they're all very devastated, and they always, because they wanted to call me a doctor, and I don't know how to become a doctor. And my father told me that the results are good enough for you to become a patient. So therefore, I was in that situation. I didn't know what to do. But the ideal is what that pushed me to the goal. Ideal is what? Okay, that's it. Whatever said and done, I will make sure that whatever said and done, I will make sure that I will eventually get my goal. So this is a very important point in this entire example, that we need to make sure that we have an ideal. So I said at the end of whatever that I do, I should be able to get the doctorate for the fact to fulfill the ideals of my father. And this was my very strong, what do you call it? Very strong backing for that goal. So I went for my PhD and did my doctorate, not because I was so keen or excited or interested. At the end of the day, I wanted to make my parents call me doctor. This is the honest truth. And this is not just truth, this is 100% truth of reason why I did it. Otherwise, there will be no motivation for me. So the ideals are what is like a compass. It will give you very strong impetus. So when I finally got that degree from my National University of Singapore, my parents were sitting in the convocation hall. And then when they called me my name, I tiptoed slowly to get the award, simply because I wanted to give the greatest happiness to my parents, much to the irritation of everybody in the convocation hall. So finally, when I placed the scroll, at the end, I went to the back of the hall and placed at the placed the scroll at the back. I asked, are you happy? No. Are you happy? I said. So dear friends, I am not saying this, plucking some statements from motivational books or reading some text and motivating you. I'm using this morning to share with you the depth of what the secret of achieving something. Ideals can shape you. So 5 wives and 1 husband, shift it, change it. Keep on asking questions, question, until you get the answer. Do not for one moment think that I cannot do it, or I am a fool, I've not been able to achieve, I'm not good at that, and all that. Those are, from now, your past experiences. Now let me tell you the secret of this, how you can achieve that. So this is one secret. Oh yeah, Prof, this is very nice, but I'm confused. Yes, this is very good. How can I make my life uncluttered? Okay, this is the secret. And this is something probably not written anywhere in the book. I should start writing books. So connectivity, this is the biggest secret of how you can get something out. I realized the great people who got all those answers remain connected. Edison had a question, he sat under the apple tree and the theory of gravity came out. Archimedes' principle sat in the tub, and with water, he discovered the displacement theory and gave the specific gravity, discovered the specific gravity and ran out without clothes. So the secret of life is connectivity. So the first connectivity you must have, and you must have, there's no question about it, you must have, is number 1 is your parents. So even if you're uncluttered, you're cluttered, you're confused and all that, don't worry about it. Leave the confusion aside. Step aside from your confusion and go and be with your parents. Connect with them, talk to them, be happy with them, speak to them. Take time to connect to your parents, because they are very, very important prerequisite. Because by connecting to your parents, let me just tell you, I'm not talking about ideals now. When you get connected to this kind of, to these people, what happens is you're expanding your CPU. Aha, okay. So this is the language you will understand. Connecting to the CPU. When your CPU is small, you put too many programs, you will get cluttered. It will stop. Increase your CPU. How do you increase your CPU? Increase your consciousness. How do you increase your consciousness? Connect to the things connect to the people that matter. When you connect to the people that matter, your consciousness starts to expand. So parents and family are critically important. Connect to them, make sure that they are the bedrock. I just want to, I want to ask Prashant or Billy to play that song now. This is a very nice song. And at this moment, this is a good thing for you to just look back at this song and connect back to something. So can we have that song now?
Okay.
This is a beautiful song, which was the great motivation at that time when we were all studying. Yeah, Billy, go ahead. There's some lyrics also there, so for you.
so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. Of course I know you. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know?
Okay. So, dear friends, this is what that has happened. And the feeling is that you should get connected to your parents. That is a very important point. And if you, the more and more you do that, you find that connectivity comes in and you feel connected. So this is one way of increasing your CPU. Another way of getting to your CPU, very simple. This is all simple thing. If you're confused, cluttered, tired, there was one question that somebody asked me just now, what happens if you're thinking a lot and you're getting tired? Yeah. So if you're getting tired and thinking because your mind is too weak to having so much of thoughts, just go to a nearby tree. The biggest incredible relief that you can get is walk to a tree and just hug. Don't think this is esoteric science. We just keep on hugging a tree and ask the tree, oh Lord, oh trees, you have got a lot of, please take my exhaustion away with your excess energy. You see the words I'm using now. Take away your energy, take my exhaustion from your excess energy, because you don't want the tree to take your energy and become, die there. See? So from your excess energy, absorb my tree, and you'll feel very refreshed after you just do this. Don't forget, when the mind is exhausted, or when the mind is tired, or when the mind is cluttered, stop, take a break, take a break, do something different for a short while, 10-15 minutes. Don't make your breaks longer than the work. Work is 15 minutes, break is 1 hour, doesn't make sense. Your work must be 1 hour, break must be 15 minutes, but make use of the break by going to the trees. Just walk in the nature for a little while. You find there'll be relief. Get connected to environment. There's a lot of parks here. When you walk in the park, be silent. Don't keep on yakking and just be silent. Just observe the flowers. Observe. There's like a rain tree for now. Of course, it's a lockdown, but when it all opens up, make use of the nature, because nature has got a lot of healing. One walk with the nature, or when you go to the sea, the people don't even understand the beauty of a sea. When you walk in the sea, look at the sea has got expansion thoughts. When you come with a myopic idea and walk along the sea, do you know that idea becomes very big and very expanded because you have associated yourself with something big. This is the way to unclutter your mind and not confuse yourself. Make big things. So when I failed that exam, we were staying near Taman Titiwangsa, and I used to, when I failed and I saw them crying and all that, so I did walks. I walked around Taman Titiwangsa a lot of times. I looked at the lake, and I still remember I took bread from my house, and I pinched a little bit of the bread and started feeding the water, and a lot of fishes came. And the thought came to, when I threw the bread, thousands of fishes came. When I didn't throw the bread, no fish came. Well, that gave me a realization. When you have something in your life, everybody will come towards you. When you have nothing, you're nothing. So that kind of amazing insights I formulated and formed during that particular period when I used to work. So nature is a very good place to do. And one more biggest area of connectivity is serve, serve, serve. So when you start in your life expanding and thinking about other people, connecting to other people and doing something, even if you're confused and all that, many of my scientific ideas came out all on stage when I'm doing the play or choreographing a dance in the last so many years. We did so many dramas and plays. Many creative things came out right in the middle of a play direction. Then I'll go to the corner and call my students and tell them these ideas. So connectivity gives you that ability to create connection. What you call it, connectivity will give you uncluttering, ability to remove the congestion of thoughts and make your mind clear. These are all points that enhances your connectivity. Yeah.
I'll switch on your video, Suresh.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So, Brother Billy is my guru for technical things. So, Teachers Day. So, okay. So, I hope you can see me now. Okay. So, this is how you do the connectivity and connect to the thing. So, these are all elements. So,
looking good, Anna. You're looking good.
Whenever you are confused, most important thing is that don't wait for some answer to come back. Change your activity, get connectivity to these processes. And then you find your cluttering will automatically become uncluttered. This is the secret. People don't understand. People don't know. Dr. Atong Jumsai from Thailand was confused. He was the first ASEAN scientist to put the flight on Mars. And his story is simply unbelievable. But the same thing, he went to the mountain, sat there for a short while, and he got this incredible answer, came down, and he got a prize from Ronald Reagan, President Ronald Reagan, for being the first Asian scientist to develop something for making the flight land on Mars. So connectivity is a technique, it's a technology, it's a method. If you are confused, don't worry, leave it. Whenever I'm confused about anything, I don't respond to it. I'll just do something else. And the answer I know I've already sent to the universe, and the universe will bounce back the answer in the right manner and give you the aha thing. So if your mind is tired, increase the CPU, increase the compensation. That means tiredness is an indicator that your CPU is short, small. Increase your RAM. And the way to increase your RAM is do all these things in a bigger manner. You will get a kind of difference in your life. Now, the other thing is that once you have a goal, then you need to be committed to the goal. When you're committed to the goal, then there's one more question here. I take the goal, sometimes I get distracted. When you are distracted means you're not committed, that's all. If you're committed, you won't be distracted. The distraction is when people try to pull, and there are a lot of distraction, by the way, in this world. The technology, in fact, I pity the youth today because there are thousands of distractions that have come in compared to what we have. So Abraham Lincoln said, commitment is what transforms a promise into a reality. So we need to make commitment to the thing and focus on the goal and continue to pursue it until you get, and do not get distracted. Hey, macha, let's go to the pub, macha. Okay. So question that you must ask, intelligent question, is it necessary for me at this point of time? By consuming this now, will I be closer to my goal? Is it not diluting my thoughts? Is it not intoxicating me? Is it not increasing my passion for the wrong things? Is it not spending money? Is it not unprofitable activity for me? At this point, my intelligence tells me, no, at this moment, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and continue life. That's how to make a discrimination choice. Not go somewhere and spend hours and hours and hours and hours and then come back, oh, you got a bad hangover, I spent 10, 15 hours doing the wrong things, and now to get back. The mistake that we make is because we did not put in a commitment. A commitment means whatever happens, you get it. So don't forget, I had 2E to O. My commitment was whatever happens, my parents must call me a doctor. That's all. That was the end goal of it all. So because I put that commitment, I stayed in, when Singapore, I took 3 buses, from Johor Bahru to Singapore every day, morning 2 hours, afternoon 2 hours. And you don't forget the Herculean amount of what they call it, traffic jams in the causeway. I used to walk up and down, take 3 buses. It was one of the most horrible journey. Here today we go by Baskola, we reach somewhere, we tell, oh, I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted, I took the buses, 3 buses, reached my university at 10 o'clock. And those days I also used to come to Kuala Lumpur on Friday because there were drama productions here. So I took the flight from Friday, reached Kuala Lumpur Friday night. Saturday whole day, Sunday whole day, do the rehearsal. Sunday night, I used to jump into the train, sleep in the train, reach Singapore Monday morning and go into the lab to do my work and reach back home in Johor Bahru on Monday evening. This was my routine for quite a bit of time, focusing on my organizational work, focusing on my PhD and focusing on things. And I finished my doctorate. Most people would finish it in 4 years, 5 years. I finished all my lab work, everything by 1 year, 8 months. And I finished it because when you're connected to a higher connectivity, your CPU expands. So commitment is a very important part to it. Take control of your life. This is your life. Who else can take control of it? Take control of your happiness. I am going to be happy from now on. Finish. Nobody else should be disturbing your happiness. Oh, I got happy. He insulted me. He insulted me. And you, it's like the bulldog. Amma, stop showing to the bulldog face. Amma, he started it first. Of course, the bulldog's face is like that. So the question now asked is that, are you the pilot in a flight? That's all. Are you the pilot? Do you know which aircraft you're flying now? So this pilot is a beautiful story to tell you that you should be the pilot in your flight. And I clearly know what exactly I want to go and go for it. And that's how we should be doing. So when you go for it, this is another way of checking is that get clarity of your end vision. And what is that? Head. You'll imagine that when you get your destination, how you will feel. Well, your head must be filled with that imagination, with a dream of the realization. Once you realize and once you get it, how many people will benefit from this, how many hundreds of others. You see, today, the fact that I didn't know, but you see, the fact that I was able to overcome that has given me the motivation to talk to you. If I did not have that experience, then I will be just like others, reading some books and talking to you about it, which is something that I don't believe in. I must walk my talk and see the experience for myself and then tell you and share with you. So my head was filled with the experience that, oh, I must achieve, I must get this, I must achieve. And if I do so, I had that vision very strong in my head. Heart, I felt it. That is to say, oh, it was a fulfilling experience. And hands, that when you reach a certain stage, the hands can be used for the sake of service. So these three ideals must be kept in. So you have your dream. Okay, what does your head see? What does your heart feel? When you finally get this, what do you feel? So I give you a good example. When I first went to register for my PhD, don't forget, after 2 failures in National University of Singapore, when I was registering for my PhD, another senior professor passed me and told me, oh, you're a new student here? He said, yeah. So how long do you think you will take to finish your PhD? I don't know. I wanted to say 4 years, 5 years, but accidentally my mouth slipped and said 2 years. So when I said 2, I think, oh, how silly am I to say 2 years? And then he laughed. It's quite tough, you know, to get it through. Are you sure? And all that he went. So the moment he said it's tough to get it, that's it. I got excited. Okay, from then on, I started to visualize 2 years, I'm going to come back, 2 years, I'm going to finish 2 years. So this two became very strong until I finished it in 1 year, 8 months. So my point here is that have that vision clear. Clarity of the thing must be strong. Feel with your heart of the outcome and make your hands feel the fact that when you're absorbed in that clarity of that vision, this is the benefit that these hands can bring to society and mankind. This must be anchored in your personality. So when you do that, your mind will not be, of course, when you go every day in the bus, sitting in the bus, traveling 3 buses, sitting down, of course, exhaustion, sitting in the custom, all that was a very hard thing. But I used to take it around. When I sit in the bus for 2-hour traffic jam or 1.5 hours, that is where I start reading my thesis, my papers. I will start reading. So I use my time well in that time. I didn't complain. Oh, I didn't have it. I'm not sure whether I'll get it. I want that. I want this. I didn't make all those complaints. In fact, my scholarship money also, whatever that I get, I used to divide and send it back home also. So the point is that work on the minimum, give out the maximum. That should be the end result of your vision. So suppose you reach there. So this is the last slide that for this morning, because there's so more, but I'm going to stop at 10. Laser focus. That means once you have a clarity of vision, laser focus it. That means what you need and what you don't need. So identify and cluster. You put the vision there, very clear, the goal. You are guided by the ideals, and you put what is needed and what is not needed. What is needed at this moment? Yeah. What is not needed? If the friend's asking you to go, is that really needed at this point? Why should I waste 4 hours? Become calculative. Great successful people become calculative of your time. It's a very important point. If you're not calculative of your time, then you will not fly like the eagles. You must be with the eagles, so you must start calculating your time and make sure you spend it in the right way. So you have laser focus. Laser focus means like that. You must focus like that. This is what is called intelligent way of living. So a few more things, but I think I gave the most essential aspects of just goal setting itself. I've not come to the other 4. I just focused on goal and the goal setting as such. Any questions at this juncture? Anybody want to ask? Is it useful? Firstly, as the ideas or sessions been useful, is it something that, you know?
Yes, hi, Professor. We have one question that has not been addressed yet, which is, does it make a difference if I do drive towards my goal with determination, but I often give in to worldly distractions? Does this mean I will fail? I feel I do not have an ideal to hold on to.
Yeah, so first question is that it's a very important realization point. If you keep on driving to the goal, And if you keep on being distracted, it is like taking 2 steps forward and then 3 steps backward. What for? What is your journey? It's like sitting in the car, you're on the engine and you press the accelerator, lot of noise, Ooh, and after half an hour, you stop the engine and get down. And you think you're on a journey. You reach your destination. Actually, you just got down from the same spot you got up. So the question now asked is, that how do you make a difference means reduce your determination, reduce your distraction. And how do you reduce your distraction? Increase the intensity of your focus on the goals. So this is the important point.
And of course, Prof, is the next question would be, why do we get tired from all the thinking? I think you did address that, but also the last part is, our mind is focused on some work and we'll be very active towards them. But then I think most of the other things that we are not focused on, we are not active towards them. Do you have any tips on that?
Yeah, the reason why you get excited is because you're not interested. Simple as that. If you're interested to do something, you will do it for so many hours you can spend your time, because if you're really interested to do something. The fact that when you're not interested to do something, what you will do is that you will struggle hard and lot of effort, lot of energy. So firstly, whatever you don't like doing, discover why you don't like doing. I must memorize so many. I must remember. So all this becomes obstacle. Now you have to overcome that obstacle. So Baba said, don't do what you like what you do. What do you mean by that? If I'm supposed to like history, then I must love history. Why do we love history? Because this is the way the world was created. I must learn what people's mistakes are so that I don't repeat it in my own life. So I learn, wow, so many things that these people did, they collapsed. So I must also not make sure that I don't do. See, if I turn that attitude in that manner, history becomes a very exciting class for me. So when we do not know how to make things exciting and interesting, it will be very dull. So the dullness is not, don't think that you have to be forced. Enjoy everything. When you go to a zoo, you see the tiger, you see everything is a creation of God. You see the aquarium. So everything in this world is a creation. Why don't you enjoy his creation and work at it and become the best in what you feel? If you have to study something that your teacher has told you, find ways to get interested in the subject, not find ways not to get interested in the subject. You must find ways to get interested in the subject. When I did my Form 6 in biology class, I went to my biology teacher and asked, why do you, in front of the class, I asked, why do you need to study amoeba? And my teacher told me, amoeba is in the textbook. Why is it in the textbook? It's in the syllabus. Why is it in the syllabus? That's the ministry's direction. So by studying amoeba, what can I learn? What can I become? How can I become? She thought I was playing with, so she told me to get out of the class. So every time biology class, I'm out of the class. But then later on, I learned and became a parasitologist, and simply because I have to find my interest in the thing. That means I have to study this, but I have to have a fascination for it. So the fascination, who creates? I myself must find the fascination for this. So you must work with people who are fascinated. So I had some very, very good teachers, my own past teachers. The fascination for that particular thing will just mind blow you. So as a result, the fascination got rubbed over me, and I became like what they aspired for. Like that, in life, when you you don't like a subject, then work with people who like the subject and find out why they're fascinated by it and find out how they think. This is how you learn. Everything cannot be easy. Things must be hard. But the harder the obstacle, imagine that this is a mountain and I have to climb the mountain. If you have that kind of motivation, every hill can be climbed, every mountain can be climbed. And if you are a religious person, a God religious person, then put the Lord whom you like on the top of the mountain and say, I'm coming to meet you. So my hard climb, my perseverance, my understanding, my hard work, all this, imagine that it is to be like a mountain. And then when you reach right at the top, you're going to meet your Lord. Wow, that's a very nice imagery also, when you meet. So the 100% is the meeting of that. So you translate these things into workable plans and work out your plan.
Brilliant, Prof. Thank you so much. I think today's session was really informative. I hope everyone has taken back one thing or another. I can certainly say that one thing that I took back today was that self-inquiry is always very important. We should keep on questioning ourselves, especially with 4 wives or 5 wives, 1 husband. That's a really good way to actually start off. And yes, thank you so much, Prof, for your time. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today.
I want to ask one question, because you see, we are doing this on an alternative basis, and I'm not sure how we should go. I don't know. Firstly, the Academy is very concerned that we want to do and reach out as much as we can, especially to college students, university students, people who, Saturday morning will just switch on and some ideas can bounce off like that. You think we should continue this on a regular basis, or I'm not, can some people?
We have a survey form out. It's in the chat box, ladies and gentlemen. You guys can, of course, address them. Or you can also unmute yourself and also share your thoughts right now as well.
Help us to help you by giving us some feedback.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. I think people are, they are shy, but it's fine. We have the form. The form is out in the chat box, ladies and gentlemen. Do click the link and help us to help you, like what Prof said. And of course, we are eagerly awaiting your responses. We are planning for our next session by the 30th of May. So it's 2 weeks from now, 30th of May. So do send the circular out to your friends, to people whom you know who are students and who are really in need of motivation and also some clarity. So with that, Prof, would you like to say a couple words?
Yeah. So whatever that has been shared, hopefully you start practicing, and maybe when you come back next time, we can listen to some of your comments of what you have done in your life. Have you actually implemented some of these things? And please add some ideas into the form, and then notice that the form that has been given. Please fill it up and let us know what you feel and think, and we'd like to help you. And this is our Academy Human Values, a way of learning to be having a valuable life with values. Thank you so much.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Prof. And thank you so much to the Sai Academy for Human Values. Ladies and gentlemen, that would be our session today. Please do fill up the form and let us know how we can improve your experience joining us on this amazing day. Happy Teachers Day to all the teachers who are in this call, and have a great weekend. Take care, stay safe, and yes,